everybody, to the Lifestyle Rewind podcast, a place where we have an off grid mindset in an on grid world. And if you've been following along a little bit, you've been finding out that I'm doing mostly audio with B roll videos for the solo episodes of this podcast. But I am also going to be bringing in guests, friends, colleagues, doctors, holistic practitioners, herbalists, and all the above periodically to have guest calls with that we will record live. And today I have my dear friend, colleague, and just outright amazing holistic doctor, Dr. Melissa Partaka. Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Hi, Brandon. Love being here with you.
Yeah, I'm super excited. We get to and basically to tell the world that you're going to be one of my recurring guests. Get to know Melissa's face. She'll probably be on every so often, and we will discuss holistic health issues, the things getting in the way. Who knows? Inflammation, food. We've had a lot of great conversations about a lot of awesome stuff. The two of us.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always something to talk about.
Yes, especially in this ever-changing, and why I created this podcast in this ever-changing world of complicated health advice. They do this, don't do that. They're contradicting each other and stuff. There's so much out there, and to me, a lot of it leads to synthetic products like supplements or prescriptions. So I want to cut through all of that noise. And today, I brought you in for a specific reason because my audience on Meta, TikTok, a lot on YouTube, and a lot of the people I work with one-on-one in my holistic practice is asking me the same questions. So I was like, you know what? I got to bring in somebody that has the answers. I'm getting, should I buy this for parasite cleanses? Do I have parasites? Would this affect parasites? I need to buy all the teas and all the things. And I'm like, no, you don't. Because for me, if you have a system that isn't fully prepped or never done a cleanse, I think throwing all these aggressive products at your system is just like throwing a grenade into a house and you're expecting to remodel it. like, so I would love if we could discuss first, what is the prevalence of parasites in today's food world?
Hey, well, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how much. We all have them. Those in America, we're not above that. we still have parasites too. Although, popular opinion would say that we don't. So, of the 100 trillion cells that we have within our human body, 90 trillion are non-human. And no, I'm not trying to scare you. So that includes parasites, bacteria, fungi, and viruses. And it ebbs and flows throughout the year. We have like flu season or whatever, and there's other times of the year. So I'm not telling you to get rid of 90 trillion. Okay, what I'm saying is, of those, try to keep like an 85 to 15 percent ratio. It's a balance within your body between the good and the bad parasites. There's currently an estimated 1,000 known varieties of parasites, but we only have tests for like 10 to 12. And so even if you were to go to the doctor and ask for a test and they look at you crazy, because they will, they probably will come back and say, no, you don't got anything, because they don't know how to test. And then of the 500 or so strands of bacteria, yeast, fungi, and the different viruses, we don't know most of those. We don't have them identified, but they're all primarily within our intestinal tract. They're also within our mouth. So you'll hear about the biome, the microbiome. So you'll have within your mouth, within your stomach, your intestines, your colon. The good ones all have a job, and it helps to break down the food to get the nutrients into your body so you can absorb the nutrients and then to pass them through. There are ones that are considered like bad, and they'll hang out in there. They thrive on like your carbs, your sugars, all of those things. And that's why, it's important to start with what you eat and be mindful of that. If you can do a whole foods diet, and not just a diet, a lifestyle, try to eliminate most, if not all, processed foods and just eat real foods, real vegetables, real fruit, nuts, seeds, berries, even some meat. Eat food that you know what it is. If you're reading, well, first of all, if there's an ingredients list, it's probably not whole food. It's probably processed. You're not going to pick up an apple and it's going to say ingredients apple. So like they say, shop the perimeter of the grocery store. That's where you'll find like the real foods. When you go up and down the aisles, that's where the processed food is. So that's definitely the major takeaway of all this. Eat real food, start there, get a clean diet, and that will naturally start cleansing your body of parasites anyway. Because if you create an environment that's not primed for them to survive and thrive, like sugar-free intestines and that, well, they're gonna go find somewhere else that has sugar. So I would definitely start there.
And our bodies thrive, as you know, on processing low to single ingredient foods. Like you get into like 30 ingredient foods, our body doesn't know what to do with that. So what it does with it is it stores it. It doesn't take time to process each ingredient. It stores the ones it doesn't know what to do with. And now we have things in our body, and our body's keeping stuff that we really shouldn't have in there. So when we have lower ingredient, single ingredient foods, like an apple is an apple, then your body knows what to do with that. It processes it, and boom, like our bodies are miracle machines if we treat it correctly. And whole food is, we're above 80% above the curve if we're just eating whole foods. We're definitely keeping
Absolutely.
track. Our bodies can keep up better.
Yeah. And not just that we're thriving and, we feel great and we're minimizing the bad parasites, but then it provides an environment where our body can heal itself. And
Yes.
you don't need doctors in that. Now, if you have an injury, of course, anything like that, doctors are amazing. They'll stitch you up or whatever, but really you're just providing an optimal environment for your body to do what it's designed to do, to fix the bones and to heal the wounds, and you do those things.
And a lot of the things, and we won't get into it too much, but a lot of the things like ivermectin is brought up in this state, in this a lot. And there's a lot of things that are brought up, and we'll get to some of the ingredients that are really good for clearing parasites soon. But there's a lot of things that are in popular culture, ivermectin being the big one, which act as band-aids. They will make us feel good in the moment, but we don't know that we're actually expelling anything, that we're actually getting rid of it. They might lower inflammation, they might lower symptoms, they might lower things where we go, oh, this is like got rid of my parasites. But really, we create an environment where we just don't know that they're still there. We're not actually clearing the root cause of the problem. Would you say that's kind of correct?
Yeah, so there are ways of telling if you are eliminating. Of course, there's the visual ways, but there's ways to track symptoms too. And yes, ivermectin can help. Just like when you change diets to strictly keto, or you whatever the diet fad is, you're gonna feel different because you're probably
Yes.
cleaning up what you're already eating. So it's
Yes.
a good short term, but it's not like a lifetime change. You're not taking ivermectin every day either.
Yeah, no, exactly. Um, what would you say are common side symptoms or side effects of parasites?
So there are a few common ones. You could have like some skin issues. So, yeah, going through puberty and that, you might notice some changes in your skin. That's You're on hormone overload. But as you get into adulthood, that kind of calms down. And generally, you're supposed to have clear skin. But if you have like parasites and even candida or some of the other bacterial or yeast or fungi growth, you might notice you start having some itching, or even like some oozing on the skin, pimples.
Like cystic acne.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just your face, but maybe on your back or other parts of your body. So yeah, that's your skin is an organ. It's trying to get it out, and it'll get it out any way possible, whether it's through your mouth, through your nose, your ears, your eyes, your bottom, or your skin. It wants it out.
Yeah.
So
Um,
you got skin issues. You could even have changes in your diet, like if you start having intense cravings, especially for like sweets and starches, like I said. If you develop any allergies or even intolerances to stuff that you normally didn't react to, or just unusual appetite changes. Either you're starving and you can't eat enough, or you don't want to eat anything. You're just not hungry.
Yeah.
Um,
What
being,
about like a hired appetite for sugar, like sugar cravings that are just like you don't know where they're coming from? Could that be a sign?
oh, absolutely, yeah. The sweets, the sugars, the starches, all of those bacteria are saying, "Feed me, feed me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, One I've experienced that I link because it's came in this with similar symptoms that we're talking about here. It came in the same time as like an unexplained like lightheadedness or like not like that feeling you get when you stand up too quick, but like at random moments and kind of like this weird sensation of like almost dizzy. Like you're almost like got like a vertigo type thing going on. You know it's not that. And it's kind of unexplainable. It just comes and goes throughout the day. I have read that this is a sign of parasites, but I've also feel like I've experienced it because of things that were happening at the same time, like sugar cravings, cystic acne on my back, and different things like that. I was like, oh, I know what's going on. Where 5 years ago I would have never had a clue.
Yeah. And so a lot of these symptoms could also be other symptoms. It could be, high blood pressure or, a vertigo imbalance in the eardrum or even a low blood sugar. So I'm not saying that these symptoms 100% mean parasites. So definitely pay attention to your body and evaluate what it might be. And doing a parasite cleanse is not going to harm you. And so if you're just eating healthier, the things that I recommend are all healthy food-based herbs and stuff. So it's stuff you're already probably in your pantry.
Yeah. So why do you think it is that, like you said this earlier, where sometimes, and I've seen this, I ask for a methylation test or like, hey, can we get tests on this? And doctors look at me like I got my tinfoil hat on. Not saying I don't own one because I do have a tinfoil hat, but I don't wear it to doctor's offices too often because I know the crowd. Um, so there's certain questions though that you just get like, oh, and then the one time I asked my buddy. David Layden actually asked me a question. I told him ask for a methylation test. He texted me back and said the doctor just looked at me like I was nuts. And I was like, yeah, I know. Why do you think that parasites, cleanses, the things we're talking about are a little bit more pseudoscience, if you will, in the eyes of traditional medical clinicians?
Well, they're not educated on it. They're not educated even on food and nutrition. Their primary path of education is pharmaceuticals because that's who pays the bills. And,
Yeah.
good for them. They're making money.
That's a good point. And that's the problem. And they're changing that. I will say there's winds of change coming that doctors now need more lifestyle and nutritional training in their residencies and stuff like that, which is awesome. I think that's going to make some changes. I found out like when I was doing my nutritional schooling and stuff, I found out after like a month, a doctor that was actually teaching a program that I was in, was like, you have now had more nutritional training than 99% of the Harvard doctors that come out and the doctors that the surgeons and everybody that comes out, like they just don't do it in medical school. And that blew my mind. Like finding that out that they have to take it upon themselves, even doctors, like regular medical practicing doctors, to know the nutritional side, the lifestyle side, the breath work, stuff like that. You don't see doc. There are now. I will give credit. My daughter has a doctor that's amazing and brings up homeopathic stuff before prescriptions, and she's like one of the first I've seen like that. So I think there's change, but you're right. It's so close minded of like you have to go this route that we're not really addressing the root cause. We're just throwing a prescription at it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're treating the symptoms, not the problem.
Yes. So when was the first time in your life that you did a parasite cleanse like yourself or with anyone else?
The first time was about 3 years ago. I was, doing a deep dive on all kinds of symptoms and trying to figure out the root cause finally. Stuff I've been dealing with for decades now. And no like the medications that I was willing to try initially gave me more side effects than I was willing to put up with, and not still fixing the problem. So, like if I could figure out what's actually causing it, so then I went through like this whole like, okay, is it this? Is it that? Is that? And then parasites came up as one of the things. Like, well, I'll try it. Like I don't feel like I have worms in my gut, but maybe I do. And
So
that's where I
after
started. And then ever since
after
then,
your first time, was it kind of like eye opening, like the changes?
yeah. But I just felt better. And then to know that this is something simple that I can do throughout the year, just do occasionally, even once a year. And not only am I helping myself, I'm helping my family be healthier. So there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with doing a reset. I mean, you take your dog to the vet every year. They deworm your dog. Why don't you deworm yourself?
Yeah. It's a really good point. Actually, I've always been an intermittent faster, but about a year and a half ago now, you did your 5 day fast, and I was inspired. So I ended up doing a 5 day water and electrolyte fast, and it changed how I look at a lot of things. Like I was carnivore diet at the time. I'm not now anymore. I've added some carbs and vegetables into my life again. That was a lesson learned after a couple of years pretty straight carnivore. That's an episode for a different day. But I started to feel a lot differently, and I actually am going to do it yearly. I have my reset a little bit later this year, but I'm actually going to do one in the coming days and into next week. I'm going to do a 5 day fast. Um, for anybody that's like on the fence, or hey, I should start fasting, I want to do a parasite cleanse. Where do you recommend people start? What are some of the ingredients you kind of want to keep out of your life, maybe put into your life? What are some of the ins and outs of cleansing?
Yeah. So, like I said, you want to start simple, um, and just make a few changes in your day. Like I said, do the real food, unprocessed food. You want to minimize or eliminate sugar, dairy, which is a high inflammatory. We're the only mammals, I think, that consume milk beyond being an infant, and we're not even consuming human milk. We're consuming cow milk. So no other animal would think that ever made sense. But simple carbohydrates, so your breads and stuff, the higher starches, and then alcohol. So alcohol, while there's conflicting stories, there is in everything right now, but um, it can be harmful, especially if you're drinking a lot. You're pretty much bleaching out your entire system with all that alcohol,
Yeah.
and not creating a environment for the good bacteria to survive. So you definitely want to do that, and then introduce the fermented foods. So that's going to be bringing in the good bacteria. So it's already giving your body a head start on all of that.
Yeah, fermented foods are going through a thing right now. I've seen there's some where it's always been they're so good for you, they're so good for you. Now I've seen things the last couple of weeks where there's contradicting reports, and I'm just like, oh
Here
my
we
goodness,
go.
like why is everything got to be like this? But what we do know is there's been a study done on microplastics, another thing that's consuming our systems, as we know, with not only high heavy metals and microplastics and parasites, and we could use the fast and cleanse for many reasons. But kimchi, fermented cabbage, and the has actually been found to clear out or remove like 90% of microplastics from your system.
I just saw that the other day. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
exciting.
So yeah, that's super cool and exciting to know, and something that I always suggest to eat, but I'm not a huge fan of. So I think we've talked about doing our own to like maybe then I'll like it.
But it's so simple to do your own. Literally, it's water and sugar in whatever vegetable you choose, and let it do its thing,
Yeah.
and it ferments. Or
We'll have to do that because I
water
got
and
some
salt.
cabbage
I'm
in my yard.
sorry, water and salt. I said the wrong word. I got sugar on the brain.
Yeah, water and salt, and
Yeah,
let the fermentation process get in. I got
yeah,
some cabbage that, oh, if it grows, I might try to do a batch to see if we can do our own a little bit.
yeah. If you can shred it up pretty fine, it helps it to go faster. Otherwise, it stays kind of coarse. I have stuff in my fridge for over a year, and it's still pretty coarse.
Um, so what? We talk about online internet contradicting stuff and that. This is one with the parasite cleanser. You're going to see a lot of stuff, right? Everybody's talking about garlic and wormwood and this and that and black walnut. And what are some of, I know turmeric is brought up. What are some of maybe like the herbal side of things that you do bring in to help the parasite cleanse process?
Definitely the garlic. I just will like mince up a clove of garlic and swallow it whole with water, and it does its thing. Pumpkin seed. So just your um, pepitas, I think, the little green ones.
Yeah.
Just chew them up, and it numbs the parasites, and then that way they let go of your intestinal lining and they can pass through. That's why you want some fiber so that it will kind of help scrape the insides. You also want binders. So you got like activated charcoal or bentonite clay, anything like that. Um, that way it can absorb stuff as it's releasing, not just the parasites themselves, but they'll start releasing toxins because they're feeling threatened. And so you want to be able to absorb that and pass that out instead of reabsorbing it into your body and then feeling other symptoms as a result.
Yeah.
Um, your herbs, so you got, like you said, your black walnut or wormwood, but oregano and thyme, I've got some growing out back.
Yeah.
Fennel seed, ginger, all kinds of just natural things that you don't think about, but it's right there available to you.
Yeah. Yeah, we've started. We're doing the same thing where we're doing a lot of the fresh herbs and like thyme and oregano and just to have on hand so we can utilize for more of these times of like trying to just clean our system out in a like you said a lifestyle, not a diet, not a. If we keep some of these ingredients in our day to day, then maybe we won't have to do like full cleanses or anything.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
awesome.
Just yeah, it's just part of your life.
When you walk through, you have a guide that walks people through how to like do
Yes.
a cleanse, right?
Yeah, I had it. It's the full thing. You identify your symptoms, why you should even do a cleanse, options that you can use for that. I put together anything that I've personally tried for myself, for my daughter, who she's 6, but she's been doing this since she's been pretty much born. My dog. So I have a like an Amazon storefront where anything that I've used and personally tested, it's in there to kind of help others fast track and not have to do all the research and stuff like I've done.
Yeah. Which I will include in the descriptions on these videos. I'll include Melissa, where you can find Melissa guides and her Amazon storefront. So you can just, like she said, you don't have to do the research. You can get the proven stuff. Question that you just mentioned your daughter's done it. What would you, so is it safe for kids is going to be the big question, right? That everybody asks. Should you be doing it with your children? I see as one that is up there. What are your thoughts on all that?
Yes and yes. So you're all in the home together. You're sharing, skin cells in the air, germs in the air, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I share food with my daughter. I can't leave my drink sitting out with her putting her mouth all over it. So we're sharing all of it, and it's microscopic. You're not seeing things. If you have pets in the home, you absolutely have parasites. They give you kisses or whatever, or even you pet them, and then you might go, eat food or take a drink, and even if you wash your hands all the time, you have them. And so everyone in the home, it's recommended to cleanse together. So with children, I recommend to do about half of the dose because their body weight's about half, and that's kind of what you're going off of. It's herbs and natural stuff. So generally, anything that you don't need, your body's going to naturally pass through anyway.
Yeah.
So definitely do that. Some of the stronger ones, like the wormwood, and that it's not recommended to do when you're breastfeeding or pregnant because your body's expelling that stuff. Well, your baby, either through the breast milk or through the umbilical cord and all of that, that's fully absorbing all that. So you can do your normal things, your garlic and your herbs and that, but the stronger ones you want to avoid during those times.
Okay. And what would be considered the stronger ones?
So like your wormwood and the walnut, like any of the, let's see what that's called here. Yeah, the black walnut hulls, cloves in moderation. They're numbing, which they're great if you have a toothache. Just chew on a clove.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so primarily the black walnut and the wormwood are the stronger ones. And then if you do any of the combined tinctures, those can be a little strong too.
Do you do the binding agents with your daughter?
Um, I do like the flaxseed or the pumpkin seeds.
Okay.
I didn't do any charcoal. That can cause constipation. And the
Okay.
bentonite clay in that. I will put her like in a bath of bentonite clay, or I do like baking soda and Epsom salt all in a bath. I mean, your body's an organ, so it's very porous. Things are going in and out, and that's another way of doing it. You can just do it as a bath. You put some of the tinctures in the bath. Your body's absorbing it, especially if you don't
Yeah.
like the taste. Some of them are a little strong, but yeah, and that's safe too. So like I would do my bath and have my relaxation time, and then I'd throw her in the bath after me after it's cooled off a bit because she doesn't really do the hot water, and she's still getting the
Yeah.
benefits.
Okay. That's good advice. What are some other precautions that you would take or advise for people who haven't done a cleanse yet?
Definitely ease into it. Start with a clean diet first. Once you have a cleaner diet going, which your body's going to experience some symptoms from that because you're going to go through like the sugar withdrawals and all of that. Once you kind of even out there, you've already got a really strong foundation. And so that when you introduce the cleanse stuff, it's just optimizing what you already have. Um, I would also, so sometimes when you buy like a cleanse kit, it throws everything together, you know, between your parasites and your metal and all of them. That can be done. That can also be really overwhelming on your system. And you might not also realize what the real problem was because you're purging everything, which is fine, especially if it's a natural one. The goal is to purge everything and get rid of your symptoms. But if something were to come back, you know, a similar symptom, you wouldn't know what to target. And so
Yeah.
you want to kind of help your immune system and do them one at a time. Um, Same with the fast. I would ease into that. So, you know, don't start out with a 5-day water fast. Start out with like intermittent fasting. Stretch 8, 12 hours between meals. Once you get comfortable with that, then maybe go a day or, you know, just work up to it. And I'm not saying do 5 days. That's not for everybody. Not for everybody ever sometimes. Um, there are benefits to the longer ones, but there's benefits to doing even intermittent fasting. So
Yeah.
listen to your body, no matter what. When it comes to eating your food, to doing any of this, listen to your body. Your body is the expert for you.
And I maybe some people do, but I don't think when you're brand new to running, right? And say I mean, a lot of people thinking about doing parasite cleanses are probably a little bit, especially in my audience, like 40 and up, right? Like, say
Yeah,
we're running our first marathon at 40. I'm probably not going to just run a marathon. It's not going to happen. I'm going to have to run a mile, 5 miles, 10 miles. Like, and same thing with fasting. Run your mile, do 12 hours. Run your
yeah,
5 miles, do 24 hours. See how it feels to go a day. I did like 6 3-day fasts before I ever did a 5-day fast. And then the 5-day fast was actually easier than some of the 3-day fasts. And I didn't see that coming mentally anyway, after 48 hours. I didn't see that coming. I had great energy. I was running, but I built up to that. My body was used to fasting already, used to intermittent, used to doing here and there 2 3-day fasts. So over a 2-year period. So when I hit my 5-day, I was like day 3 to 5, I was going for jogs. I'm lifting weights. I think if it would have been my first time ever fasting, I wouldn't have been doing that. I
yeah,
wouldn't have been utilizing the fast as good as I did. So my biggest advice would be warm up, get to know your body, really listen to your body. How are you feeling 6 hours after eating? How are you feeling 10 hours after eating? How are you hydrating? Like, I think really getting to know what our bodies are saying is pretty crucial when we begin to fast or cleanse. Or you can take a bunch of products, drink a bunch of drinks, and Great. What'd you do? What'd you pee out? What'd you like? What did you do? And I think to really know what we did, we have to go on a self-discovery journey of how we're feeling with every given time. Not just I haven't eaten 12 hours, I feel like crap. But sure, how's your body temperature? How's your skin feel? How's your hearing? How's your sight? How's everything feel? And I think when we really dial into that on more of a personal basis, it helps us do the rest of it so we know what we're doing, in my opinion.
Yeah. A lot of what people do when it comes to eating or drinking or alcohol or just overindulgence, they're masking something. Usually it's emotional. So, pay attention to that too. And all of this is very much a mindset. You need to have a very strong why that will push you through the hard times. What is motivating you? Why is this important to you that you don't give up on yourself?
Yeah, I really love that you brought it there because it's not all about even like if you do it the way you do it. You've done parasite cleanse before, you've done it with your kid, you've done it with your dog, you've been around this, you've guided other people. Um Even with your knowledge of it, I think that's now I lost my train of thought. ADHD preneur here. Now I lost my train of thought. Well, oh, there we are. So my I think you bringing that up is it doesn't matter how much you know. If you take the right products, if you do the right things, if you fast for 5 days or a week, it's not going to outright fix what you need fixed if you're not going about it right. You can't just purchase a product off of Amazon, take the product once, and then you're good to go. Like something has to change, just like a prescription. Something has to change, and a cleanse, I think, if done wrong or as the sole purpose, is just going to come back to right back where you were. It's just going to be a vicious cycle.
Yeah, don't just check the box. Like, be committed.
Yeah, like, oh, I got this parasite cleanse. Now I should be good to go. And it's like, well, not really. And I know you are too, but I'm a huge believer in the metaphysical, right? Like that like quantum physics side too, where we we think and the way we act and the words we speak and the way we approach things can highly depict how things outcome, right? Like, so I think going into it with just, I need a parasite cleanse because everyone else is doing it. I think this one symptom is why I should be doing it. It isn't gonna actually help you mentally either.
No, no, it's not. Yeah. Definitely have your why. Do it for you. And yeah, it's helpful if you're doing it with other people. You have those each other to lean on, or especially like during a water fast or a cleanse, you're going to have possibly similar symptoms as you progress, and you can kind of bounce out off of each other. Like, oh, I'm feeling this way. Yeah, me too. Okay, well, we're going to get through this. So having that motivation and accountability can be helpful.
I just had a light bulb idea. I think we should do like group fasting,
Yeah.
to like actually that could be something. It's catching speed. It's catching a lot of people are like curious about it. To have a group of people going through the same things, you can bounce stuff out of it. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, because I'm actually like legit going, like I said, I'm going into one that I've been prepping for here in the next few days, and I'm like, man, that'd be nice to have some friends. Like, have some people doing it right alongside me. I can talk to them, see what we're all doing. I love that idea.
I just finished a 7-day reset. Um, Recently gone down the wormhole of fascia. And so I did a 7-day reset of fascia and movement of the body. And I'm going to keep doing it. But yeah, and it's good having others to go through it together. And what you got out of it, someone else might have got something else out of it. And then you realize, oh yeah, I did get that. I didn't even think about that.
For our listeners that don't know, what is fascia?
Fascia. It's relatively new to like pop culture, but it's been known for maybe almost a century even. But so like you got your muscles, your tendons, your nerves, your bones. Fascia is the like, plasma type webbing that holds it all together. So when you say that your body's made of 70% water, It's fascia. Fascia is the water in a gel-like or plasma state, and it can get tightened and, um, say, like, for me, I have a very tight jaw. Well, it doesn't mean that my issues stop at my jaw. It affects other parts of your body because it's all connected. It's one big web within your body.
Yeah.
So if you can work through that in one area, it's going to affect another area. Just like a diet's going to affect your body. So,
That makes sense. Like even if like uh back in the day, cage fighting and stuff, right? Like I get hurt and I'm nurturing my left side, my left leg. Then like the next 2 weeks, I'm realizing I have problems coming up with soreness and tightness and stuff on my right leg because I've been overcompensating. It's the same thing.
yeah, yeah, it's all connected.
So if anybody's really confused on do I need a parasite cleanse? Should I try this? What do you want them to do first? And I know you've kind of already said it, but as I wrap up, I like to reiterate a little bit. What would you like them to do first before they just go buy something to try a parasite cleanse?
Just start with the basics. Clean out your diet, get to real food, hydrate. Just drinking water isn't necessarily hydrating. And actually, if you drink a lot of water, you can flush out your electrolytes, which is depleting your body of nutrients. So it's encouraged to drink filtered water, especially if you can avoid it. Don't drink water that has the chlorine and the fluoride and stuff into it because that's being absorbed by different receptors in your body, which then blocks your body's ability to absorb the beneficial stuff that your body needs. I could go down a rabbit hole there, but I won't.
So if you're really going on like watching everything you consume during a cleanse, like even bottled water would be something that you kind of want to avoid because in the heating process and stuff, I mean, it's no secret that there's a ton of microplastics and stuff within our drinking water that we get from bottles.
Yeah. So there are websites where you can find natural springs in your area.
See,
And
I've done this.
yeah, and you can like for us, you just go get it. It's free here. Some states kind of have it fenced off and they charge whatever. You go collect your mineral water. But it's fresh out of the ground. It's got nutrients and minerals already into it. It doesn't have all the other junk that's like the chlorine stuff that they have to use to cleanse the water. Um, but if that is your option, and it's unavoidable, it's still water, and it still can be like you can buy filtration devices,
Yeah.
and then you can add minerals to your water. Even like I use the Baja sea salt, and it's adding potassium and calcium and magnesium. And then I also put a little bit of diatomaceous earth in it, which it's silica. Your body is made of silica, which is like a sand technically, or glass. Don't eat glass, but
I just
it
got this
also
question and
helps.
I didn't know. I just got this question the other day. So we're
Yeah,
using I know you're a fellow gardener. We have these crazy little cucumber beetles, these little yellow, black clown car looking things that are destroying my cucumber plants. So we got diatomaceous earth that we've been
yeah,
putting on the leaves and on the roots to kind of, we still want to help our bee friends. We're trying not to put them by the flowers. But somebody asked me, can't you consume like this diatomaceous earth? And I was like, you know what? I know you can, but I don't know. Like, is it the same as the stuff we use on our plants?
yes. So make sure that does say food grade, but generally it is the same stuff.
Okay.
Uh, Again, if you mention it to a doctor, you're gonna get a crazy look. But yeah, and it's great for parasite cleanses because the little crystals in it help scrape out your intestines and everything. And then it also makes it easier for your body to absorb the water that you need.
Yeah. Um, Are there any other words of wisdom as we wrap up or advice or and also include where to find you and stuff? And like I said, I'll put stuff in the links. But is there any other words of wisdom or advice you'd give any of our curious fasters or parasite cleansers?
Um, Listen to your body, trust your body. Um, Go as natural and organic as possible. Ask questions. Don't be embarrassed or afraid. And yeah, and when you do find things out, tell others. Get the word out and help humanity, you know?
Hey, that's I got it more into fasting because of you. Like I said to you about a year and a half ago now. I spread the word as much as I can. And when I do my live, I'll be doing mine live. Like, you know me, I'm all over Facebook, YouTube, everywhere else. So I will be chronicling my 5 day fast. If anyone else is interested, hey, if you're watching this and it's before that, drop in the comments. Let's do it together. I'll support you. You can we'll have Dr. Melissa. We can send messages to when we need those words of encouragement. Um, where do we find you on the wild world of the internet?
Yeah, so my business is Blueprint Method, and so, like, I'm on YouTube, I have a school, community, I have Instagram and Pinterest. I don't know if Pinterest if people use it anymore, but I know I do. So, yeah, and so I share a lot of stuff on those, different platforms. Um, and yeah, look me up. I'll gladly. Like, I love to help people and just share my knowledge, all the homework that I've done.
And I'll also shout it out since you didn't. I think you can get your book on Amazon, right? The author of the Blueprint Method, which is, in my opinion, a must read.
Yes, yes, it is on Amazon, and Kindle and paperback, and so it basically it's the first like, the foundational work to discovering your authentic self. We we're all conditioned through our families and our schools and just society in general, and so it's helping you get back to, or perhaps for the first time, discover who you truly are. And then from there, just living an authentic life and what that looks like for you.
I love it. It's totally resonated. I think why we've resonated with each other since we met on school and beyond. And I've really come to hone with it lately. I've been thinking about the blueprint method, not only from your community and stuff, but just the way you present it a lot lately, because I've been looking at life a lot differently lately. And that's again why, in my mind, I'm rewinding life. Life is so fast, and there's so much stimulation, and there's so much to do, and we want everything immediately and right away in front of us. And when I'm finding out that we just need to like go backwards to go forwards, like hang more clothes on the line, put your feet in the dirt and get microbials like we talked about, get the good bacteria in our bodies, like doing the things that like we used to do yesterday a lot more is really me finding out who I am today, because I feel like I needed to slow down a little bit, and that's where this podcast came from, and everything else is rewinding our lifestyle. So I really appreciate you stopping by and talking cleansing today.
Yeah, glad to. I love where you're going with all this. Yeah, we're getting back to our roots ultimately. It's like we had this figured out, and then um, other people had agendas forced on us, and we thought that evolution was good for us, and maybe it's not.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That is a good way to put it. Maybe it is good to grow and always evolve, but we need those strong roots that never change. We need those things that we can always fall back on: circadian rhythm, light, breath, movement, that like fascia, like you mentioned, like the smallest parts of our mitochondria, our cellular base. We're overloading it with ingredients and consumption. Really, all it needs is minerals and a little bit of tender love and care, right? Our bodies are miraculous machines if we simplify things. But the problem is the world has overcomplicated everything, and now our bodies don't know what to do. They're like thrown into
Yeah,
things like, what are you doing to me? And I believe that's the root cause of a lot of the health issues that are really prevalent in today's society.
yeah, just simplify. It's the way we're meant to live.
Yeah. And because of your knowledge, your homestead, your herbalism, everything that we don't talk about that you brought to the table, that you bring to the table, you're going to be on here a lot. You're going to be one of my recurring guests. So look for those. Hey, Melissa, what are you doing this week? You want to talk for a little while? Because they're going to come.
Absolutely, yeah. Right now, we're all excited about tomatoes turning red. So,
Oh, it's amazing. Or like this morning, this is my admitted, this is my like first year really having a garden. Like Allie is more of the gardener. She brought that into my life. I've tried in the past and completely failed. this year, like I have crops and like stuff, and like I go out in the morning before work and get the sun, and I'm like looking, I'm like, oh my god, there's squash and there's cute little peppers and there's this and there's that. I'm like, I'm so excited about foods that I never would have imagined I would have been excited about. But when you grow them, and there's something different about heirloom, organic, grown in your backyard food than there is at the grocery store. So it's something to be excited about.
Yeah, and when you finally get to taste it, it tastes like real food. You can taste the earth,
Yes.
not the stuff that is flavorless on your supermarket shelves.
Yeah, the synthetic stuff, like it's crazy because we only do heirloom organic, like we don't spray anything, we don't do any of that, right? And when we picked our peas and our green beans, especially the peas though, one of the kids looked at me and was like, "It tastes so much better." And I was, yeah, I know, like it's crazy how you can taste the realness in the food because it's actually food.
And when you get the kids involved, they have an ownership in it. Like they've put in the work and they see that, wow, I grew this and now I get to eat it. So that's fun too. And then you're creating future gardeners.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, Doc, thanks for stopping by the Lifestyle Rewind today. Like I said, I'm going to definitely have you on again. Subscribe, like, follow, share, all of that stuff because I'm just getting started. This is episode 3, and we are going to continue to dive down holistic ways to simplify our life, to live an off the grid mindset in a really on the grid world. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks, Melissa.